Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at androgyny and measuring androgyny, including the BEM sex role inventory, which you need to know for AQA A-level psychology in the subtopic of gender. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Psychological androgyny is a personality type that is characterized by a balanced high-level combination of both masculine and feminine traits, attitudes, or behaviors. Psychologist Sandra Bem, 1974, argued that it was more psychologically healthy to avoid fixed sex role stereotypes. Bem believed that men and women should feel free to adopt a variety of masculine and feminine type behaviors to suit their personality and should not be stifled to one gender personality type, as stifling a person's personality can have significant psychological costs, e.g. mental disorders. She therefore devised a way of measuring both masculinity and femininity independently and the extent to which a person is androgynous. Bem created a psychological self-report questionnaire, called the BEM Sex Role Inventory, BSRI. It was developed by asking 100 American undergraduates which personality traits they thought were desirable for men or women. From this, a list of 60 characteristics and traits, 20 of which could be classified as masculine, 20 feminine, and 20 neutral, distractors not associated with either gender. Masculine behaviors included aggressive, ambitious, dominant, authoritative, competitive, assertive. Feminine behaviors included affectionate, compassionate, sensitive, caring, gentle, empathetic, sympathetic. Neutral behaviors included adaptable, sincere, helpful, truthful. Participants would then rate themselves on how true the statements were for them personally on a Likert scale of 1, never true, to 7, always true. The scores were then added up and translated to two dimensions: masculinity, femininity, and androgyny, unclassified, undifferentiated as follows: mask, high mask, low fem, fem, low mask, high fem, androgynous, high mask, high fem, and undifferentiated, low mask, low fem. Added 1977. Bem suggested that people who are highly androgynous are more psychologically healthy, have greater mental well-being, and are better equipped to adapt to a range of situations and contexts due to their extensive skill set than people who are strongly masculine, strongly feminine, or undifferentiated, therefore making androgyny more advantageous. There are several strengths and limitations of Bem's sex role inventory. A strength of the BSRI is that there is research to support Bem's theories. Praksh et al., 2010, found a positive correlation between androgyny and psychological health in line with Bem's predictions. 100 married females were tested in India on masculinity, femininity, and a range of outcome measures related to physical and psychological health. Females with high masculinity scores had lower depression scores, whereas those with high femininity scores had higher depression scores. This is a strength because it suggests that androgyny has a psychoprotective effect, as those with masculinity and femininity traits were healthier. A strength of the BSRI is that it has test-retest reliability and was established in a logical manner. Bem scientifically established relevant traits using a large sample of 50 males and 50 females and asking them to rate 200 traits in terms of the extent they represented maleness and femaleness. The traits that scored the highest in each category became the 20 masculine and 20 feminine traits on the scale. The BSRI was then piloted with over 1,000 students, and the results broadly corresponded with the participants' own description of their gender identity. In a follow-up study, a smaller sample of the same students produced similar scores when the students were tested a month later. This is a strength because it suggests that at the time it was developed, the questionnaire appeared to be a reliable way of measuring androgyny. A limitation of BSRI is that it lacks temporal validity. The BSRI was developed over 40 years ago in the 1970s. Since then, there have been several social changes as to what constitutes as acceptable and typical male and female behaviors and traits. Hoffman and Borders, 2001, asked a group of 400 undergraduates to rate the items on the Bem sex role inventory based on whether they were perceived as masculine or feminine. The results showed that only 2 terms were still endorsed as masculine and feminine, and these were the adjectives masculine and feminine themselves. The other terms in the test failed to reach a 75% agreement level. This is a limitation because it suggests that the BSRI is made up of stereotypical ideas of masculinity and femininity that may be outdated and not be a suitable measure of gender identity in the modern today. A limitation of BSRI is that it has been criticized by other researchers, which led to changes in the classifications. An additional fourth category of undifferentiated was added, low scores for both masculine and feminine traits, after criticism by Spence et al., 1975, who highlighted that the test did not differentiate between androgynous, high in both masculine and feminine traits, and a person that is neither masculine nor feminine, low in both. This is a limitation because it suggests that the original BSRI may have oversimplified the complexity of gender identity and failed to accurately capture the nuances of individuals who do not strongly identify with traditional masculine or feminine traits. A limitation of the BSRI is that it is subjectively assessed. BEM's scale is a self-report measure and androgyny is a type of gender and gender is a social construct. Because of this, each individual will have a differing opinion about the extent to which they are androgynous and may not have an insight into their own gender identity or an understanding of their personality and behavior. On top of this, each individual will have a different interpretation of the questionnaires' 7-point Likert scale scoring when they self-assess their own personalities and traits. This is a limitation because it suggests that the BSRI is not an objective, scientific way of assessing gender identity. A limitation of BSRI is that it takes a reductionist approach to assessing gender. The BSRI could be classified as an oversimplistic explanation of gender. Firstly, the BSRI only focuses on personality traits, ignoring and minimizing the effects of other factors, such as biology, gender identity, and social context, as well as interests and abilities, as argued by Golombok and Fivush, 1994. Secondly, the BSRI reduces the complex concept of a person's sense of gender to a series of quantifiable numbers. Spence, 1984, argued that there is more to gender identity than a set of behaviors typical of one gender or the other, and therefore, qualitative methods offer a better way of analyzing gender. This is a limitation because it suggests that the BSRI oversimplifies a complex and multifaceted aspect of identity and implies that quantitative methods alone may not be a way to study different aspects of gender identity. A limitation of BSRI is that it lacks cross-cultural validity. Appropriate attitudes, behaviors, and traits change and differ across cultures. The scale was devised using people from America, which is a country that has Western beliefs and notions about maleness and femaleness. What is considered male or female traits varies significantly from one culture to another, influenced by unique social norms, values, and historical contexts. This is a limitation because it suggests that the BSRI as a measure of gender is not universally applicable across different cultures and can lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and the perpetuation of harmful stereotypes. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.